Title is invalid? What you mean the title is invalid? Was it too long? Oh, man. Why you tell me that now? Why you gonna wait till I get on here now? I'm already live. Oh, man, all right. I'm trying to bring some order to this. Let me start over. Can I start over? All right, hold on. Let me do it like this. Boom. This is going to be the header, and this is going to be our startup music. Hallelujah, let go. Yeah, you see, I seen some talk online, and I just wanted to address some if I could. Not that I'm in the habit of doing all that, but, you know, whatever. Hey. All right. So, bottom line is my dog is really go brother. I know them Dodgers don't love him, but it's all right because he's finna understood him. Okay. All right, I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, hey, good stuff. Let's go ahead and stop the shenanigans. Why would y'all sit here and try to front on my dog as if he don't actually deserve this award? So I'm gonna chill right now. Let's go ahead and get the show started. Welcome to what I believe I'm gonna call chocolate baseball. Look, I already got graphics and everything. I tend to like the theme. The whole theme is chocolate, is baseball covered with flavor. And I consider myself a little flavorful, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go ahead and keep it like that. So here's the deal, guys. Today, a few things on the docket, and I still don't have a schedule and how I'm gonna do this all yet, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of enjoying it. So who knows? Maybe we'll go ahead and keep it going. But did have a few things. I like to start off with what I'm gonna call a leadoff hit. I got 4 topics, of which I won't sit and dwell on all of them, but the couple that I do want to chat on at length, I'll go ahead and get into at first. Even though I do consider these homer topics, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the leadoff hitter, which is yesterday, or not this week, excuse me. They did come out and give the results of the Golden Glove winners. All right, and as you see here, you see a list of Gold Glove winners. Now, what do you notice about these Gold Glove winners? None of these Gold Glove winners were, with the exception of Nico Horner and Ke'Bryan Hayes and Ian Happ. All right, well, maybe a lot of them. All right, maybe I should take that back. I was going to say none of them in the postseason, but the fact of the matter is none of them were deep in the postseason and none of them were in the World Series. So those are not prerequisites. I mean, look, I like a lot of these cats as much as the most of y'all, but the fact of the matter is that's not what they ended up being. Not gold in the World Series. So that's not a prerequisite. Why am I saying this? Because it's a real silly thing to say. Why am I saying it? Because when you see things like this, where people are trying to claim that Mookie Betts was robbed because of the winners of this award, because Masyn Winn won, I can understand it. I mean, Mookie Betts did just win the World Series along with his homeboys, and it was pretty significant how he was able to come into shortstop from right field after not necessarily playing too much shortstop in his professional baseball career in the major leagues, and for him to convert himself into a phenomenal shortstop is pretty admirable. So I will give you that. All right, there's no discount in that. But the thing about Gold Glove winners is a lot of it goes based off metrics, right? It's not just off of who went the furthest in the playoffs. It's not just who hit the most home runs. It's not even always just simply utterly statistical. So the fact of the matter is Masyn Winn did win the Golden Glove, and I believe it's justifiable. However, I do see your argument for those that are trying to make their argument against Masyn Winn. Let's go over why it is you may have an argument. Well, for one, for starters, Masyn Winn obviously was not on a very, very, very high winning team. The Cardinals only won, I believe, 77 of their 162 games this year, missing the playoffs, missing opportunity. But of course, this year was dubbed a year that wasn't going to necessarily be a year they was going for it anyway, right? It was trying to basically float. This year was what they call rebuild. Well, they didn't want to call it a rebuild. They kept calling it a reset and all this other crazy stuff. So yeah, you didn't see it. But he was there. Masyn Winn was out there killing it, doing a lot of crazy stuff. This is just one example of what Masyn Winn, his arm, you gotta understand, Masyn Winn is a former pitcher. All right, this dude was a pitcher. He was drafted as a shortstop. I mean, he was drafted and they knew he could play, he could pitch, but they also just like, look, we're just gonna go ahead and keep you a shortstop. But he still got the same arm. So yeah. Now, let's go down why it might make a decent case for the Dodgers fans as to why Masyn Winn maybe should not have won over Mookie Betts, which I still disagree with, but let's go over it. All right, so here's your claim. So here's Masyn Winn's numbers, okay? Masyn Winn in 2025 only, and my apologies for not having that line highlighted. In 2025 only, Masyn Winn ain't hit but 9 home runs, all right? And stole 9 bases, which is low for him. Masyn Winn is normally good for the stolen bases. You know what I'm saying? At least he was in 2024 and a little bit in 2023, which is his rookie year. So I get it. You sitting there like, all right, yeah, I see the Bull only had 9 stolen bases, but y'all gonna get a Bull the Golden Glove with 9 home runs. So he gets the Golden Glove. And especially when you say, well, let's take a look at Mookie Betts' numbers. All right, well, Mookie had 20 home runs. Whew. I ain't gonna lie, that's a lot of home runs. That's a lot of home runs. But he's Mookie Betts, man. You know what I mean? He's Mookie Betts. Of course, he got a lot of home runs. You know, and deservedly so. You know, but that's not what this award is for. It's not the Gold Bat Award. It's the Gold Glove Award. Don't forget that part. It's the Gold Glove Award. This award is majorly, at least it should be, from what it's described as, a Golden Glove Award based on defensive statistics, not offensive statistics, right? Okay? Like if Mookie wants to go up for another Silver Slugger Award, by all means, man, handle your business. You got that. But Gold Glove is specifically, predominantly for defensive metrics. And for that, we got to go over what the defensive metrics are. So let's go ahead and talk Masyn Winn. Masyn Winn will be at the top, and then Mookie Betts will be at the bottom of this. Check it. So these are some of the fielding statistics for Mookie and Masyn. Masyn at the top, Mookie at the bottom. Mookie, of course, having been in this league way longer and have been played for the Red Sox before this, has a lot more seasons. Masyn Winn having literally been his 3rd season in the league. If you want to count 2023, because he wasn't even there, he got called up in 23. All right. But I want you to just peep a couple numbers here real quick, a couple real crucial numbers that I think would help make some sense to some of the level-headed Dodger folks out there. And I know y'all are still riding on that high because you did win the World Series and it was very entertaining. But let's at least bring some sense to this decision for Gold Glove. All right. So LG, all right, the league. All right, the position, games. All right, game started. All right, now check it out. These are the numbers that I want to pay the closest attention to, okay? So let's compare these column by column, all right? Let's look at the number of games. So, all right, you're saying right now, what that got to do with anything? All right, well, hold on. Just hold on a second. Look at the number of games. You got 129 games for Masyn Winn, all right? 129 games for Masyn Winn, okay? You got 148 games for Mookie Betts. And this is crucial. I don't want to say crucial, but this is significant because Mookie Betts and Masyn Winn both had to take a little bit of time off this year. Mookie Betts at the very beginning of the year because he just wasn't feeling that well. If you recall, he didn't finish the series in Tokyo when they were playing the Cubs for that series for the opening day because he lost like 20 pounds, got the Mookie flu. I don't know what he was doing out there or what he was eating before he left, but he wasn't feeling that great. And he had to use them first couple weeks to just get himself back together. I mean, he was off. All right. So he didn't necessarily have a full 162, but neither did Masyn Winn. Masyn Winn had an injury as well, and he took a little time off, which is unlike him and also unlike Masyn Winn this year. Not only did he take out time off, but he fought through some injuries that he still had toward the end of the year. But when he finally realized, oh, snap, we probably ain't going to make it, which was after the All-Star game, and those 2 series right after the All-Star game were pretty crucial. I think that's when he decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and chill this season. And just like Arenado did, I'm going to get my health up to par and then come back to the field. So him, Brendan Donovan, Wilson Contreras, Nolan Arenado, a lot of those cats took a lot of the second half off because at that point it was pretty evident that, we were going to be a 500 team, unfortunately. So I say that just to show the difference between the games Now let's move forward in those columns, right? So other than the game started, let's look at the number of innings. Yes, the number of innings is relatively still indicative of the number of games played. However, this is where it gets interesting. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and skip past TC because TC is just a combination of PO, A, and E. PO, that's going to be putouts. All right. A is going to be assists. And then E is going to be errors. All right. E is going to be errors. So we're looking at the putouts. How many times did he get the ball and throw it out so that no play could be played? How many times did he put the ball out like this? Well, according to this, Masyn Winn had more putouts than Mookie Betts, even though he played damn near 20 games less than Mookie Betts at shortstop. Are you seeing this? Damn near 20 games less, 19 games less than Mookie Betts, and still had more putouts. And Mookie ain't no rookie, but Masyn is only on his 2.5 year. Assists. Mookie played 19 more games than Masyn Winn. But there's 20 more assists than Mookie Betts. 20 more. Now, each of these assists, you like, oh, it's just an assist. Each of those assists is an out. That's a potential run. That's a base runner. These turn the tide of the game. These ain't just little BS stats. Like these add up, and each of those assists could potentially lead to either a victory or a loss, which could topple their ability to go into the postseason. Which is oddly because Mookie Betts had lesser numbers, but they still made it because they're the Dodgers. Look how much they got, man. The payroll is ridiculous. But I'm not one of those dudes who they want the payroll. But at the same time, come on, man. They're not leaning solely on Mookie, especially when they know this is not his strong suit at the beginning of the year. He's still learning. You heard interviews with Mookie Betts saying that he was still leaning on Miggy Rowe in the World Series for advice after playing 148 games at shortstop. He's still leaning on Mookie after playing with the Red Sox for all these years. And now the big number, honestly, for me, is the E, the errors number, because that means either somebody got on base or somebody scored because he missed the play. Masyn Winn has 3 of those the entire year. 3 the entire year. While Mookie's got 7, which is just a sign of his inexperience at the position. It's not meant to knock the ball. I'm not trying to say, oh, he should have bloop, bloop. Nah, I ain't that dude. But that is a pretty significant stat differential between these two. Now, as for the DP, if I'm not mistaken, is the double plays. So for each of these DPs, you can count that as 2 outs. All right. Masyn Winn has 13 more double plays, which means either he's faster, quicker, or his arm is stronger. And he's able to get the ball over to first after going to second, kind of the way Mookie did on this last play. This is one of Mookie's double plays. Hallelujah. Congrats, homeboy. But that was one of his 51. While Masyn, who didn't even go to the playoffs, who didn't even play the bulk of the last half of the season, who played much less games than Mookie, was still able to pull off way more. So this whole Mookie Betts was robbed is inaccurate. It's not true. The stats don't match that. And let's also not forget, like Mookie Betts will admit to you himself, he was not at top tier this year. Mookie Betts, the game before last, before the 6th game of the World Series, was like, I've been terrible. I have been terrible. A good chunk of the baseball media universe was clamoring halfway through the season for Mookie to go back to right field because Teo wasn't holding it down out there. And they also felt like the reason why Mookie wasn't swinging the bat right is because he was having these issues at shortstop and having to learn a new position. So of all the things going on in the world, the one thing I will not stand for is Masyn Winn slander. Okay, Masyn Winn got it out the mud. This dude is a Texas dude. He is in St. Louis. He is literally the franchise, you could say. Ozzie Smith himself is highly endorsed Masyn Winn because he got it like that, man. Ozzie Smith is my favorite player in baseball. Point blank, period. Full stop. And Ozzie Smith endorsed the young boy because he knows how difficult it is to keep a gold glove or even to win one in the first place. You feel?
It's the Wizard calling to congratulate you on winning your first gold glove. Hopefully, it's one of many to come. Hi there, Masyn. It's the Wizard calling to congratulate you on winning your first gold glove. Hopefully, it's one of many to come. Hi there, Masyn. It's the Wizard.
It's the Wizard. Come on, man. So, yeah, give the boys props. I know they didn't win yet. I know they still on a trajectory where they got to figure out what exactly is going on with the Cardinals. I know it's Heim time. He's hiring folks. We are now doing more you know what? Let me go ahead and do this real quick, and then I'll go ahead and move on because I'm going to try to make this as short as possible. Wow, I talk too much. It's already been 15 minutes. Are you serious? I ain't going to talk way too much. All right, so my predictions with the Heim Bloom era, as we start to look forward in the Cardinals era, this is normally going to be what I end with. I'm going to end with the Homer, and this is Homer stuff. But my prediction is that Heim Bloom is going to have a really good legacy from his contract, from his time dealing with his duration at the St. Louis Cardinals in management as POBO, as president of baseball operations. I really think because here's what he's doing that I don't think Mozeliak was doing. I think Mozeliak did it, but he wasn't doing as much. He is fiercely looking to scout internationally. Now, I know you can say, well, Mozeliak got Pujols, he got Yachty, he got, yeah, that's true. That's true. I get you. But right now, it's just not just the Dominican. It's just not Puerto Rico. It's also Japan. It's Africa. All right. We don't want to keep being behind on the scout level. You know, we could get us we can get our own Otani. We could get us a Joseph Ding out of Sudan, who I know ain't hit the majors yet, but it's really exciting to look forward to what kind of career he's going to have over there with the Dodgers. All right. So I just want to put that to rest right quick, man. Let not anybody come out their mouth and try to tell me for any reason whatsoever that Mookie Betts was robbed when he is putting up more games, more innings, but still less stats than Masyn Winn, the one who actually won the award. So let's just go ahead and put that bad boy to rest. Point blank, put it in a box, bury it. It is dead. That BS, we is not even going to go that far. Put that idea in a box and kill it. Anybody out there still thinking about that stupid stuff, bro? You just need to learn right now. That thought is gone. You no longer have any claim to this thought pattern because it's stupid. All right. So if anybody want to jump on my timeline, jump on my comment, say something, then feel free. What's up? Hey. Hi. All right. You all right? Oh.
I'm joining y'all.
All right. I wasn't expecting a guest star, but hi. Hello,
Hello.
Kiara.
Hello.
What's happening? It's good
Hello.
to see you.
Hello.
Hello. Okay.
Hello.
It ain't nobody here, so I ain't worried about it. I just now starting this one. It's not as big as my other one yet, but we work on it. All right. Thank you. I guess you had a good day.
Yeah, I did.
Awesome. All right. All right. What you want me to do, man? Go get some food out there, man. There's plenty of food in there.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Bruh, can I finish this? All right. So anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Whatever I was saying. Oh yeah. Well, anyway, all I was saying is basically there is no debate over this. Recency bias is not a statistic. Okay. And just because you saw Mookie Betts in the World Series does not mean just because you saw him last that he now deserves to be crowned a gold glove. I think that even he would argue, look, I don't care. I think that he was interviewed and he was like, look, I don't care, man. He been said my numbers are done for the year. He just want to do what he can for the team. So Mookie ain't tripping. I think if anything, Mookie's just happy he can finally get back to his podcast now that he had a hit in Game 6 and a good walk-in and a good final play of the World Series. He don't have to worry about so many comments being like, Mookie, so he could get back to doing on base with Mookie Betts, which is a good watch, I'll admit. All right. So let that go ahead and be the end of it. Let's put that in the box. It is dead. Mookie Betts did not get robbed. He did not. Masyn Winn earned the hell out of this award, and that's why we're going to make sure he gets his flowers. So thank you, Masyn Winn, for doing your thing. Keep it going, fam bam. I will at least, I don't know about everybody else, but I will make sure we keep you lifted up. Hallelujah. Because, yeah, I will not stand for any more of this. Mookie Betts was robbed. He was not. It's BS, and you know it. All righty. So moving on to other things, let's see what else we've got in the box, man. So a couple of the topics that I wanted to chat on real quick. Go ahead and put a little music up here. A couple of the topics that I thought was kind of cool that I'll mention off real quick before we head up out of here. I do see that now. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the second at bat and talk a little bit about some of these new hires. So now, as y'all know, since we're in the offseason officially for the last couple of days, now we can check on who is and who is not coming to the who's going to be coming back to their teams, who is going to be fired, who's going to be hired, who's going to get extended. But mainly, more importantly, who's going to be the replacements for a lot of the holes that were put in during the midst of the season. There was a lot of managers that were, frankly, just either let go or just, whatever the heck it was. And so a couple of noteworthy things that happened was the Braves went ahead and hired Walt Weiss. The Braves went and hired Walt Weiss. The Braves hired Walt Weiss. And what does that mean? Well, it means that they have a hire now. They have a manager now. They had Schnitt the last few years, and Schnitt, unfortunately, did not bring them back to the World Series like he did a few years back. I believe in 2021 when they last won with Freddie Freeman. And I do see why this hire was good for the Braves. I get it, because Walt Weiss was already in the clubhouse. He was a bench coach for Schnitt in the last few years, and I believe he even said in his press conference that if Schnitt decided to stay on because he stepped down in his 49th year of with the organization, he decided, look, man, I would have stayed with Schnitt if he wanted to stay on. Whether that's true or not, we don't know, but it's a good rap. But he's just going to keep the same energy going for the Braves, which hopefully they'll have a better season, because listen, let's keep it real. They should have had a better season this year, but they got met with some bad news at the beginning of the season when Profar ended up testing positive for PEDs. Acuna came back, but he was iffy, couldn't really necessarily do his thing like that. Chris Sale, a little bit injured here and there, a little banged up. They lost Max Fried. Ozuna wasn't really hitting like that. Albies wasn't hitting like that toward the end of the season. Mike Harris the second wasn't hitting like that. It just wasn't popping off. Matt Olson went to the All-Star game, and I don't want to say embarrassed him, but didn't really have the best of showings for the home run derby. But all that's to say that the year wasn't the best year. And I know Schnitt didn't want to go out like that. Now, I understand Schnitt, he got a truck and a vacation from the front office, and he's also going to be in an advisory role. So he's still technically on the Braves platform. But now we have Walt Weiss. Now, here's where it gets tricky for me, whereas it comes to Walt Weiss. Walt Weiss, from what I understand in the reports that I'm reading, Walt Weiss is a little bit of a tough cookie, right? Like, he wanted to tell you how it is, and he ain't gonna let you slide with slacking, which could be a problem for one Ronald Acuna Jr., who's already showed that he doesn't like it when he's getting unfair treatment. Let's go back to when Jared Kelnick, I want to say that, the dude who gave Big Dumper his name, when he didn't get benched. All right, after not running all the bases out, and Acuna's down in Miami rehabbing, he's not even able to play. This is 2024, and he sends out a tweet that says, if it was me, I'd have got benched. And he wasn't wrong, because he did get benched when that happened to him a few years ago. I mean, he wasn't running all the way out. I mean, Ozuna as well. The only reason I'm mentioning this is because this was something that I believe they had to address as an organization. Before Ozuna started this year again, he had to apologize at a press conference. I don't know if y'all saw it or not. I was a little shooketh. I was like, man, they making you apologize, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't see what he said was wrong. I mean, I get why it was inappropriate because it causes unnecessary media hype. But sometimes when players feel away, man, they have the right to express themselves the same way everybody else in the industry does. All right. Did you see what happened with Bryce Harper and Dumbledore up there in Philly? Dude took the mic and used it as a bully pulpit. Yo, Bryce Harper ain't elite. Why are you saying this to the press? But that's a subject for later. But the point is, I will be watching this situation right here very closely because my opinion is, as much as I think that Walt Weiss is a good hire for them, I'm just a little nervous about the dynamic between him and Ronald Acuna, between him and Marcell Ozuna, between him and maybe even Michael Harris Jr. I don't know. Michael Harris II. I'm just a little, we'll see how it goes. I know ultimately winning solves everything. So if they're winning, they ain't going to trip. But I am curious to see his ability to communicate with these different cultures and to identify with them when they have legitimate complaints about being treated unfairly. So we'll see how that goes. Now, there's also another hire out there for another team that I don't see this as a bad move at all. I don't see how this could go bad. But the Minnesota Twins, after basically releasing the overwhelming majority of their pitching squad last year, getting rid of their big hitters like Carlos Correa, all right, and now they don't have a certainty with Pablo Lopez. We don't know exactly what's going to happen with Joe Ryan as their pitching staff. They literally almost all of they bullpen gone, and one of the biggest benefactors of that bullpen sell-off was the Philadelphia Phillies, who got Jerron Duran, who got not Jerron Duran. He's with the Red Sox. You know, the closer, and Durantula. It's just Duran. All right, freaking his first name is escaping me for the moment. But yeah, big deal. But now they have no real direction. The only real firepower they got on that lineup right now is Byron Buxton. And I honestly feel like he's just so comfortable in Minnesota because they allow him to. He had a good last season, right? Because he played the whole season. And they also, I believe, did intentionally include incentives in his contract so that he would try not to have an injury, just like he did the years before when him, Royce Lewis, and Carlos Correa were all injured at the same time, not giving the Twins much of an opportunity to really advance, despite the fact that they had a huge, for this year, I think it was like a 10, 12 run man, words. Oh, they're in my head, but they're not in my mouth. You know the word I'm talking about, man. Oh my God, I'm gonna be so mad as soon as I see it. I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, that's the one. Oh my God, what's the word when you a bunch in a row? You know what I'm talking about? When you do a bunch of them in a row, and then all of a sudden, what? Y'all took the, oh man, streak. Oh shit. Sorry. All right, streak. So I like Derek Shelton coming from the Pirates, got fired last year, and all they did was bring up somebody else out the clubhouse. But Derek Shelton's a fun guy, funny guy. I don't know whether he's going to be He's going to be have a good, successful seasons. By that I mean winning seasons with the Twins or not. But I think that they'll at least not have to struggle through the transition of our last manager and this year's manager. I was getting a little hot here, so I'm going to end this here pretty soon. So Derek Shelton, it was cool to listen to him when he was on the media bit for a little bit, but now we get to see him take that same energy he learned from the media spirit back into the clubhouse. And I got a feeling he's going to be at least at bare minimum competitive. Now, successful, who knows? But at least he will give that energy that the Twins need to, at bare minimum, not fall completely off the map. Now, a couple other things real quick. Now everybody this is nothing new, all right? This is nothing new, but the Cal rally and Aaron Judge quest for MVP stardom is still on, even though they already voted. All right, there's no, oh, I hope that the postseason run influenced the right. No, the BBWAA, which for me still is kind of weird that it's called the BBWAA, because if I'm not mistaken, the BB stands for baseball, and that's just one B. That's one word. I don't know why we need two B's. All right, it's not called MLBB, the Major League Baseball ball. It's just, why is it BBW? Anyway, that's a whole other subject. So they already voted. They vote before the postseason. So as far as they know, either the Cal Raleigh or Aaron Judge could have been the phenomenal knockout best player of the postseason, but it wouldn't matter because the voting's before. We could debate over whether or not that's a good thing or not, but the voting already took place. And I'm not going to sit here and do the whole thing. I'm sure if you're a baseball fan, you already have seen the back and forth. If you're sitting there talking about Aaron Judge, the only thing that I will say in this regard, with the respect to the notion of whether or not either of these two should be MVP, is this. If you talk to somebody who believes Cal Raleigh should be MVP, the first thing they bring up, talk to somebody who believes that Aaron Judge, my apologies, should be MVP. The first thing they bring up is his numbers. Every single time you talk about Aaron Judge, then you start talking about his OPS, you start talking about his 54 home runs, you start talking about all of the times he was walked, you start talking about how many RBIs he has, you start talking about all of these statistics. And I'm not going to sit here and hold you. Yeah, those are all impressive. Aaron Judge always, at least in the last few years, is always producing with that bet. That's why they paid him so much money. Yeah. Aaron Judge, the $450 million man. Yeah, they paying him a lot of money because he hits hard. All right. But I just want to just remind y'all that the name of the award is not most valuable hitter. It's not most valuable hitter. It's most valuable player. Overall, most valuable player. And most valuable player means that it's not all on one side of the ball. Am I wrong? All right. Now, this is where the big debate comes in, because it's like, all right, well, how do you really quantify value, right? How do you really quantify value, right? Can you really quantify value? Because who knows whether or not being a catcher is equally as valuable as having such a high OPS. You know, who really knows whether or not being squatting throughout an entire game and having to memorize the likes of all of the pitchers, starters and bullpenners for an entire game, including an 18. Oh, excuse me, that's Will Smith. All right. Well, a 15 inning game, I believe, that Cal Raleigh played in before. It's hard to really say one is greater than the other. But let's also talk about the value that it brought to the city. All right. Aaron Judge, yes, we know. He held down the Yankees, especially with the OPS, especially with the hits, especially with the home runs. We're talking about multiple, I think 4 years plus with 50 plus home runs, this guy, right? Which is a big stat, a big relief for a manager. But that's kind of what he's expected to do right now, right? That's kind of the standard he set for himself. Am I wrong? Now, Cal Raleigh, on the other hand, Cal Raleigh is having a breakout year. Cal Raleigh has hit more home runs than any catcher has hit. He's hit more home runs than any switch hitter has hit. He has now hit, he has now basically got himself in the Seattle Book Hall of Fame because he is breaking the records of said folks like Ken Griffey. And he's now in the same sentence as folks like Ichiro. He's become now a household name. He has brought his team into a major new level of respect by helping them get into the postseason, which they were not in last year. So quantify. Give me all your numbers, all right? But you can't quantify stuff like heart. Every time Aaron Judge strikes out, he go back to the dugout, and then he goes out to right field, and that's it. If Cal Raleigh strikes out, he got to go and prepare to catch. Make sure that the ball doesn't get past him, or that's not a wild pitch, or that somebody doesn't steal second base. He doesn't have the luxury of watching the fly ball go to left field, center field, go to the infield. He touches the ball on every single play, every single pitch. And we're not talking about some big name market like the New York Yankees. The Mariners ain't never even been to the World Series. So the level of the stuff he got to put through, I'm just saying, it raises his team to a much higher level than the Yankees would be, whether or not Judge was at the team on their team or not. Let's just keep it real. Yankees fans are going to turn out to everybody. But the Mariners have now been brought to a new stratosphere. Now, I know you're going to say, all right, Jorge Polanco, Julio Rodriguez, all of these dudes contributed. Yeah, Logan Gilbert, Brian Wu. I know. Even the new hires with Naylor and bringing back Suarez. But ultimately, that level of consistency came through Cal. And in addition to that, Cal also don't just go on the field, get the glove, and hit the bat. He's also talking to the front office through the media. Remember last year, he was like, look, we got to do something when it comes to getting into the postseason. We can't just expect us to just pull up. So it'd be really nice if we could get some more tools to help us get there. And what happens this year? They did exactly what the fans would want them to do. Instead of just waiting around and hoping for the best, they was like, you know what? We're going to go ahead and give y'all a Barry. We're going to go ahead and give y'all Josh Naylor. What's up, man? Hey, bro, y'all here all the time. Nobody want to talk to me when I'm going live. What's going on? Is it invitation, sir? Nah, yeah, let me end this. I'm gonna be done a little bit. Yeah. So I know it's like, all right, yeah, we went and got Suarez too. Yeah, that's all cool, and it was actually real cool. Even though I think you should have put Andres Munoz in on the fifth inning, but it's cool. But point blank, it is. I just hope that those writers take in consideration that, yeah, numbers, but what did it ultimately do when you get knocked out of the World Series? Don't even get to the ACLS, the LCS. When you get knocked out, by the Blue Jays, Remember when the Yankees lost? Yeah. What does it really mean? If all of that productivity leads you to going home. Now, mind you, I get it. Cal Raleigh can say the same thing, but at least that's not always what they are expected to do. The Mariners this year rode a wave of grit and a real good synergy base with that front office. And I truly believe that Cal Raleigh was influential on every piece of it, from the outfield to the infield to the pitcher's mound to the front office to the plate and in the batter's box too. So that's why I feel like Cal Raleigh should be a shoe-in, but that is just me. Now, a couple of things real quick, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut this short. I mean, I say that all the time, but I still be talking too much. So Cal, I thought this was funny. Kike Hernandez and went on Saturday Night Live. Excuse me, not Saturday Night Live. Went on Jimmy Kimmel to talk about some of the World Series stuff. Now, Jimmy Kimmel is I believe is an LA resident, even though he has a club in Nevada. Still was real cool with his sister too, Jill Kimmel. We toured together. We did some boats together, and yeah, she's a very nice chick, nice young lady. Wow, I'm gonna get on this though. The reason why I'm talking about this is because I think Kike is like literally one of the funniest dudes in baseball. Like the dude's crazy. So one of the things that they do while they was there is they let Kike tell the story as to what happened when he had the last play in the world, one of the last plays in the World Series. It wasn't the last play because it was Mookie that had the last play. But when he was up to like one of the last plays in the World Series, and his boy got in the way, and what he calls dunked on him. Now, I think that's hilarious. Kike is one of the funniest dudes, and I tell you, it's not just what he said when he was on there, when he described how he's running back to get the ball, and then just when he's about to have his Willie Mays moment out of nowhere, because he said the only thing he had to worry about was the wall. And he says that while he's sitting there trying to catch the ball and save the World Series, because you got to keep in mind, when this happened, it was bases loaded, tie score, bottom of the ninth, if I ain't mistaken. Yeah, look, bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, tie game. Come on, man. If that ball gets dropped, that's game. Game is over. Toronto wins. Walk off. And so he's running to the ball, and then all of a sudden he says, out of nowhere, his own teammate posterizes him. He's laying down thinking, oh, man, we lost. And then old boy came up to him and was like, hey, man, get up, man. He said, did you catch the ball? He said, yeah. He said, hell yeah, man, let's go. Yo, Kike funny, man. Dude just crazy if you think about it. You know, and you need somebody crazy like that. He's like the Jack Napier. He's like the Joker, the Heath Ledger of this clique. I mean, some of this stuff is completely inappropriate. You know what I'm saying? But you need a clubhouse guy like that who does crazy stuff. My favorite part about Kike is his speech for the World Series. When he said what he said at the World Series, bro, that was the dopest thing. Okay. So I don't know if you're aware, but Kike went completely nuts. This probably gonna end up getting blocked, but I'm gonna try it anyway.
Hello.
All right. What? Well, listen, I'm just gonna tell you because I know how they're just gonna go. They're gonna basically say you can't use this content because it's not yours and blah blah blah. So fair enough, I get it. You know, you did work to have your content exclusively for you, Sportsnet or whatever. So I'm not gonna sit there and try to rob it, even though it is public on Instagram. All right, I don't know how they do that sometimes. But there's one thing that Kike said in this that I thought was so funny, and I thought was thoughtful. And even though I'm pretty sure that on the tour ride to the field, they get them all lit and get them all on this stuff just so that they can say something crazy when they get the mic. Kike does not disappoint. And so I know whenever they get the mic, they be so nervous because they be like, what he gonna say? What he saying now?
It's a true honor.
So he basically goes up and he starts talking about how they're a dynasty. Oh, everybody's talking about, are we a dynasty? How about 6 years, 3 World Series rings? He's like, we're a freaking dynasty. And then he says this.
These have been pretty humble. But I think it's time to talk that shit.
I think it's time to talk that shit. Yo, he starts talking about how and so when you don't have like this type of dude on your team, like, and everybody's pretending, like it just gets inauthentic. And so when you get this guy, like, he just goes all the way in, and I love that, man. So the best part is when he says he wants to apologize. He says, I want to apologize. And I don't know if I can play it or not, but
To absolutely nobody, the triple champ does what the he wants. October out. Deuces.
drop the mic. Come on, man. Come on, man. This is theater, man. Come on, man. This is theater. This is what you want. Are you not entertained, man? I want to take this moment to apologize to absolutely fucking nobody. Because the champs do whatever they want. Come on, man. Give me that on a t-shirt, bro. If you didn't like it, it's because your team didn't say it. And I ain't gonna lie, my team didn't say it. They didn't get an opportunity. They couldn't. But yo, that is dope. I'm sorry, but that is hot. And so yeah, I gotta give love to Kike, bro, because that I don't know what's going on here, and I wish I hadn't showed it, but that is crazy. That is nuts. And you need a good guy like this on your team, even when sometimes they don't contribute that much through the regular season. Because Kike was literally silent throughout the regular season, came into the postseason with a sub-2 batting average, but he just turns into a whole nother dude when it comes to the postseason, and that's why you got to give it up for these dudes. All right, well, listen, I had a couple other things on here, but this is getting a little long in the tooth, so I'm just going to go ahead and knock this up real quick. The couple things I was going to go over was the fact that a lot of folks is talking about IKF and that play that he missed. I think y'all could get past that. It's a little difficult for somebody to know whether or not they're going to get knocked out. And the fact of the matter is, the real reason you upset is because IKF is slow. It's not because he didn't make it. If he was Ronald Acuna, if he was Bobby Witt Jr., all right, he probably would have made it. All right, but he's slow. That's why he got traded from the Pirates. All right, Izzy ain't what he is. That ain't what he is. Let that man go. It is not just his fault. There was many other opportunities, including in the games before that. All right, not to mention the fact that Ernie Clement should have hit that ball out. All right, and how about this? Maybe instead of them hitting the ball to Miggy Rowe, maybe he hit a pop fly. How come y'all don't blame him on that? How come y'all don't say nothing about the fact that he hit a ground ball? Huh? Maybe he hit a pop fly in the outfield. You ain't got to worry about all this because that's what he was supposed to do. All right? Then how about Alejandro Kirk? Instead of the last play, how about maybe he don't just hit the ball directly to Mookie Betts? Don't try to layer everything at the foot of Israel Kiner Falefa. Nah, man. That dude fault. Y'all had 3-2 as a record in the World Series before y'all went home and lost twice on your home court, on your home field, in your home stadium. So stop it. Get out of here with that, man. I don't even want to hear about that. All right. Now, I've been looking forward to this part because I'm going to do this rather rapidly if it's okay with y'all. And we might even add a little bit of tunes in here because this is the part where we get to talk about the uncertainties coming up as we round this home plate. Uncertainties surrounding so many things, specifically this upcoming season. There's a whole lot of stuff going on that we don't know what's going to happen. All right. For instance, there's a whole lot of free agents on the ball right now. A whole lot. And so let's go ahead and get into some of these free agents right quick. So let's look on here and see who it is that makes you interested. Now, first thing I think is Pete Alonso did a Juan Soto last year and nobody noticed. He did. He pulled a Juan Soto. Even though it wasn't after the World Series, it was after he lost to the Marlins and did not get into the postseason. Recall last year, Juan Soto, right after they lost that fifth game, it was within, I think, 30 to 60 minutes that he was talking to the press saying he was available for all 30 teams because he was becoming a free agent. He was trying to milk that bone dry because, you know, his agent is the agent to rule all agents, Scott Boras, who gets everybody the most money in the world because his philosophy, at least that's what he says, is the owner should not hoard all the money. You know, the players are the ones that get them that money. So Pete is represented by Scott Boras, which is one of the only reasons why the Mets signed him again, because you heard last year, like, they wasn't trying to bring him back. Cohen himself was like, this is annoying. They did a press conference and they were like, Pete Alonso. And he was like, this is getting a little annoying, the whole Pete Alonso thing. Because Pete won't 5-6 years, but he damn near 30. That's the problem, man. They consider 30 like the death knell of your career. You know, even though we got folks that's doing their thing like George Springer, Max Scherzer, still doing their thing well until their 30s, 40s even. All right. Another name on here that I find interesting is Kyle Schwarber, because you see he is Philly's heart, especially since right now they put Bryce Harper on notice, but that's in the trades. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Another notable one is Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette, which I believe is the Robin to Vladdy's Batman on the Toronto Blue Jays. They do not make it to 7 games without Bo Bichette. If he don't hit that knock in the 6th inning, in the 3rd inning. Oh, actually, they still end up losing that game with that. But he did help in the win on the games that they won. All right, and not with much running, but the bat and the walks. He's good at bat. One of the best in the American League. All right. Ranger Suarez, the whole Phillies team is in shambles. I'm not going to lie. It's going to look way different next year, in my opinion. You're going to lose Ranger Suarez probably. You're definitely losing Nick Castellanos, because I couldn't see him wanting to go back to that clubhouse after he got put on the bench by Rob Thompson after having, I guess, the wrong thing to say to him when he tried to criticize his defense. And then Castellanos basically damn near saved the Phillies' career, saved their run against the Dodgers, even though they still end up losing. It was his knocks those last few minutes that gave them a little bit of extra breath. All right. But I don't think Nick's going to be there. I think Nick's going to land somewhere real dope, though. And he's a right fielder, so I don't know, man. I'm thinking San Diego. I'm thinking San Francisco or something like that. Who knows? But he's a Miami guy, so who knows? Maybe he'll go back to the Marlins, but he's not going to be competitive if he does. There's a whole bunch of names on there. Josh Naylor stands out. Dylan Cease again. Alex Bregman. All these are free agents. Cody Bellinger's probably going to end up back with the Cubs, in my opinion. It'll be a better bet for him. Just pay a little less than you would have to pay for Kyle Tucker and get that's basically the same defensive paralysis and productivity from Cody Bellinger. Jack Flaherty's already decided he's going to take his option back with, if I'm not mistaken, he's going to stay with Detroit. Zach Gallen, that's interesting because I think Arizona really needs to hold on to that. JT Realmuto, man, they need him. Edwin Diaz, man, he's staying there, man. Ain't nobody. The Mets need all their pitchers. Shane Bieber's, he's already decided to opt in. I can't see Luis Arias going anywhere. Like, I literally can't. Like, who else is going to take Luis Arias? He's not as useful on any other. I shouldn't say that. He is such a perfect fit for that Padres offense. They need that bat, man. He needed him to he stay over 300. He stay over 300. All right. The one that's not listed on here that is the most interesting to me, the one that is not on here, and honestly doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it kind of does make some sense, is the one from the Chicago Cubs. I don't know. Perhaps y'all have heard of this dude. He pitches for them. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Mr. Shota Imanaga, who is not prominently featured on this Instagram. My Lord, man, good Lord, I gotta scroll down a lot for this dude, man. Why are y'all hiding Shota Imanaga? Huh. Fascinating. Where is Shota? There he is. Not exactly the picture I was looking for, but all right. So Shota Imanaga is now a free agent. And this is weird. Now, Shota was one of the most popular players on the Cubs team at the beginning of the season before PCA started having his run. All right, he got hurt, took some weeks off. Offense didn't suffer. In fact, some would argue that they learned then that folks like Cade Horton and man, I want to say Matt, my man that was in Cleveland last year, Boyd. I always forget Boyd's name. And Boyd got better and stronger as a result of him not being there. You know? But I don't know, man. Where is he gonna go? They offered him a $15 million offer, which was, I believe, his option for a player, and he didn't jump on it. So are they now basically saying that they don't need Shota Imanaga anymore? Is that what I'm hearing? I feel like that's what I'm feeling. I feel like I'm feeling like they're trying to move on from Shota Imanaga. But I'm almost certain. I'm almost 100% certain that if Shota doesn't land with the Cubs, wherever he goes, he is going to be a killer. Because this is going to be this is going to be his first time being traded within the industry. He came directly from Japan. So I think that he's going to take that paralysis with him. Now he hasn't been in the game as long as you, Darvish, and you know what I'm saying, and some of them other cats who've been through different teams, Matasaka, you know, Yusei Kikuchi. So yeah, I believe he will take a trade, not hard, but I believe he will say, listen, I know what I'm worth. They weren't offering me what I was worth. Wherever I go, if you give me what I'm worth, I'm going to show you why I'm worth that much. I like Yusei. I like Shota because I like his animation. I like how crazy he is. I like how he hold his leg in his windup for like 1 second. It's funny to me. I like how he put the slinky dog in when he first came in as an initiation. So good luck to you, Shota. I'll be watching to see what ends up happening. But for right now, it's not looking good for the Cubs with that regard. All right. Now, these two trades that I want to holler at y'all about, which I think are frankly a little interesting. Trade potential. These are not guaranteed, of course. We don't know for a fact that this is definitely going to happen. But the one that I already kind of mentioned that I still think is a little weird that we even have to talk about it is with Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper is a longtime Philly, all right, since he came from the Nationals, if I'm not mistaken. And first baseman, a lot of clout, came into the industry with a lot of heat behind him. Like I remember he got beamed on one of his first games. And he's just stole all the bases. So it's just so this is a dude who is very intense. And right now, things are looking a little weird for the Phillies because their Peebo, the president of baseball operations, basically came out and threw hella shade on Bryce Harper. Talking about something, oh, well, is he elite? I don't know. He might be elite. I mean, he ain't having an elite year, but, you know, asking if he's elite, that's up to him. He gonna have to show if he's elite or not. I could read you the quotes, but I don't even want to put you through it. It was embarrassing. It was ugly. It was unnecessary. It was ugly. Why? I mean, there was no reason for them for him to go all that Dombrowski. Like, what was the purpose? And so essentially he puts his best player on notice, you know, and essentially says what sounds like, yeah, I mean, he all right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he all right, you know, but I mean, you know, I don't know if he's gonna be good. That's up to him. We're like, what? Like, this is your what? This is oh, I got other options energy. You know what I'm saying? Who does that? Who does that? Who criticizes that? Like, there was no reason. He could have just shut up. He could have just been like, yeah, Bryce cool. That's my dog. We gonna talk. That ain't what happened. Man. All right. Look, all right. I was going to try to show y'all, but it's just so egregious. I don't even think I should. And I don't know, they'll probably cancel it too. But just the way he went about it just felt crazy. It felt crazy. All right. So they still want Schwarber. All right. But I don't know, man. If I'm Bryce Harper, I'm hoping for a good trade. If I'm Bryce Harper, I'm not trying to stick around for an organization that not only don't show me respect, but that feels like I'm not worth the effort or the money and wants to try to put me in my place instead of trying to put people in place around me. If I'm Bryce Harper, I'm second guessing. I'm like, what am I playing for? You? The dude who call me out in front of the world. I'm playing for you, the dude who tried to goat me into doing better by putting me on blast in front of the media. That is who you want me to produce for? I mean, yeah, he gonna tell you, yeah, I did it for the team, I do it for the city. But when they say, oh, is your elite player elite, and you sit here and do all this kerfuffling, if I'm sitting there watching that, somebody gonna send that to my inbox, and I'm gonna be like, this fool said what? This fool said what? Now, Bryce Harper had a response. And, you know, Bryce is not one to sugarcoat his words. Is the dude who sprinkled some expletives to Rob Manfred during their meeting where they was basically trying to start getting them ready for a salary cap or a lockout. All right. But yeah, listen, I guess these things happen. But there's, man. You got to clean this up. Here's what Bryce says. If anybody's interested, Bryce basically said that he was taken aback. Hold on, I'll get you the quote. Bryce says he is that's not Bryce. He didn't say that. All right. Order in the court. I literally just saw his quote, and I should have put this up before, but now Dombrowski's saying that he's not trading him. I've been reading on the Phillies on May trade. Bryce, I couldn't be further from the truth. We love him. We think he's a great player. He's very important to our team. Right. Clean it on up, buddy. Clean it on up. Now this is what he said.
A life of its own. I said so many things in a 1-hour press conference, and this is the one thing that gets out there. First of all, I mean, to me, Bryce Harper is one of the best players in the game of baseball. And when I say he didn't have, they asked me, what type of year did you think he had? And I said, he had a very good year. I don't think he had an elite year.
You don't have, but why? He's walking it back because he feels the heat, and rightfully so. Because that's Philly's own right there. And Philly don't play by their own. You know what I'm saying? But you said it. And you didn't just say a little bit. You expounded. You went deep into it. You let it linger. Knowing he was going to see it. There's no way he's going to perceive this as positive. Yeah, he didn't have the greatest year ever. But y'all still got to the postseason. You still had one of the best records in the league without him contributing like that. And I'm going to keep it real with you. Kyle Schwarber, as great as he was, he went through consistent droughts. What helps Kyle Schwarber is that he hits a home run every couple of weeks, or he'll hit multiple within a game. And I remember that long drought. I think it was 0 for 18, 0 for 20, something like that. Don't quote me. But he hit 4 home runs in one game, and then everybody shut up. But it's like, if you could do that in just hit in other games, we'd be all right. And keep in mind, Kyle Schwarber is a DH. He's going to soak up your DH spot. So he don't give you no defense. All right? It's not like Ohtani where you're going to be on the mound in the next inning or maybe in the next few days. All right? He's a DH. All right? He's Yoshida Matsuzaka. I think they should, if anything, if Bryce Harper gets traded, which I still think Bryce Harper, if he's a guy I think he is, he's going to entertain any options he may get. He will consider it. But I think they're going to have to consider, if anything, getting rid of Bryce Harper and seeing if Kyle Schwarber can play first base. I doubt it. For some reason, I just feel like that's not in his lexicon. But I feel like that might be one of the only plausible options, because I don't think he's going to be fast enough to do anything in the outfield. He's not going to be athletic enough. Even though that's interesting that he is in the MVP talk despite not playing any defense. But, that's NL versus AL. So, yeah, I think that is a interesting problem to navigate. And good luck to you, Dave Dombrowski, for getting yourself out of the hole you dug for yourself. Now, finally, as it pertains to potential trades, the one that I actually think is a little surprising, but not surprising, is with Tarik Skubal. Tarik Skubal is now into his free agency this year, and he is literally one of the top 3 pitchers in the entire league, baseball altogether. On my list, I can't speak for everybody's, but my list, you're going to have Yamamoto, obviously, Paul Skeens, and Tarik Skubal. And I might even say Tarik Skubal gets a slight bit of an edge. You know what I'm saying? And I like Tarik Skubal just a tiny bit more because he's a little bit more interesting to watch. He talks trash. He communicates to the batters sometimes. Sometimes he emotes when he gets a strikeout. If it's the last strikeout of the inning, he'll do one of those, yeah! You know, I love it when folks in baseball show their feelings outwardly because I feel like it's discouraged, right? But Tarik Skubal's agent, just like Pete Alonso's agent, is Boris. And Boris does not allow any player to get a penny less than what he feels that they deserve. Boris is the I don't want to call him capitalist because he's using the capitalist system, but he's the anti-owner of the and his agency. All right. So the question is, will the Detroit Tigers bring back their bread and butter? Because there is no Detroit Tigers without Tarik Skubal, in my opinion. Tarik Skubal is their draw right now. When it's Tarik Skubal day, when it's Winn day, oh, that stadium full. I attended a Tigers game up at Comerica Park. It's one of the nicest parks. I haven't been to all 30 yet, but one of the nicest parks. There's a theme park inside the park. There's a theme park inside the Tiger Stadium. Bruh. You know what I mean? There's a whole theme park in there. They got a merry-go-round and it's nuts. So I just don't know, man, if Detroit will find themselves anywhere near the postseason without the likes of Tarik Skubal. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, as much as I love Jack Flaherty, I don't think that Jack Flaherty in his current form will be enough to single-handedly hold down the Tigers, and neither Casey Mize alone either. I mean, you talk about losing the ace of all aces. Detroit don't have the money, man. So there's nothing else to lean on. Riley Green ain't there yet. Kerry Carpenter ain't there yet. I'm talking star power wise. So in addition to losing your ability to win, you lose your revenue because the ticket sales gonna go down. It's hard for me to imagine a world in which the Tigers don't at least try to get Tarik for one more year. But with a guy like Scott Boras, if Tarik saying, look, it's time for me to get 6 years, I want 6 years or bust, then that's what he gonna get. The question is, where does he go? The question is, where does he go? So that's the question I have for y'all that I want to leave you with today. And I'm gonna come back on here, I don't know, maybe tomorrow. And I just want to hear from y'all. Where should Tarik go? Does get traded? Who should be the first to consider? Who would best benefit? I mean, who wouldn't? Obviously, all of them, but who is best suited in this time from payroll to needing that ace so badly that they're going to be down to put to back that Brinks truck up and dump it off in Tarik Skubal's lot? I've heard the Mets make sense. They got the money, even though I would have probably argued for a little bit of deferment for Juan Soto. a little bit of deferment. I could say the Yankees, but there's no way. I do not see the Yankees shelling out the kind of money he's asking for and keeping Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole on staff. I think they're just banking on Garrett Cole coming back. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm thinking the Padres could very much use a Tarik Skubal and hear me out. The Padres right now are holding Yu Darvish and Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease, who has been listed as a potential trade rumor for so long. Yu Darvish is about to have a whole year off because he's going to have some sort of surgery, if I'm not mistaken. Now, you could trade him, pay a little bit of the money to get him off of your staff, trade Dylan Cease, maybe trade a couple of the other players, because you did acquire a pretty good offseason, Laureano and my man at the plate, Ferrer. But it would be nice. Will it happen? Probably not. Because I think they like to trade. I think they like the AJ Preller over there likes to trade prospects, not as much their current players. But we'll have to see what happens. I think the Astros, they got Framber's a free agent. There might be some room over there, maybe for him to jump along with Hunter Brown, but I think that they would probably put their eggs in the cart of Hunter Brown. Toronto? They about to take Max Scherzer off. Max Scherzer since his last year. All right. The Braves are really fascinating to me with the loss of Max Fried. The Orioles, new management, lost Corbin Burns. Cincinnati, can Nick Lodolo and Hunter Green do it alone? I don't think they need. He ain't going to Cincinnati. They can't afford him, and Hunter Green is a certified stud. So that's what I'm interested in, y'all. Is Terry Skubal on the move? And if so, where do you think he should go? You tell me. Leave me a little message. Leave me a little comment. I want to say, whoever it was that commented on my last video, you're the reason I'm back. Because I sometimes, as a stand-up comic, I'm used to instant gratification. And so to have somebody say something nice definitely means something. So anybody saying anything, I definitely sincerely appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and run up out of here. Sincere thanks. I do not have a certified schedule and all that yet. I'm in development on this stuff, guys. All right, so forgive me. But I have fun doing it, and hopefully maybe 2 or 3 folks might watch it and comment, and that's all I'm really looking for. I ain't trying to blow up and all that. I just want to have a close little tight-knit community of folks that I can talk with because I ain't got any right now. All right? So keep in mind, Dodger fans, you was not robbed. My dog won that thing. All right? Y'all have a good one. See you on the next one. Please respond, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And I will see y'all on the flip. Deuce.